Hey YouTube, this is Round 100 and
Jedi Voice 30 here
with the Rancor Podcast Weekly. So, this is our second installment of the Rancor Podcast Weekly, and it's going pretty good for us only being up for a week. We've already got 9 subscribers and over 30 views on our first podcast, so that's very cool for us. And we're here with you for our second episode. So this week, our topic's not going to be about figures. It's going to be about the Clone Wars Season 4. Now, this was a great season, but I was kind of disappointed with it. It wasn't the greatest season of the Clone Wars yet. So, to start off, we're going to let Jared Worthy Theory talk about the first arc in the Season 4 of the Clone Wars.
Alright, so the premiere of the season, it was the Water War trilogy, where they went under, they all went underwater, and it was really cool to see, like in the original Clone Wars micro series, we got to see Kit Fisto, in action underwater. I really like how he looks, the way he does in the episodes. He just looks really awesome. I really love the, Aqua Submarine, or like the those vehicles that they ride, and I really love how they put Admiral Akbar in there. That was just so awesome, and Riff Tamson, the shark guy, and it was just an amazing arc. But it wasn't my favorite, but it was still really cool. I really wish that, just as a joke, if you remember that scene when they when like bad guys, like they built like a fake Republic cruiser, and then it explodes. I would have loved, just as a joke, if Admiral Akbar would say, "It's a trap," it would just, like, make everyone laugh. It would just make the season better,
Yes, so the Water War arc was a really cool arc, and the planet was Mon Calamari, and I would like to add the main thing was the Republic came to Mon Calamari because the Mon Cala people and the Quarrens were at war, like you may have seen in the micro series of the Clone Wars. And I hope that they make figures of them because I'd really like to see a Mon Calamari figure and a Quarren figure in a Clone Wars style. So this was a really great arc, and that's pretty much all we can say about it. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the arc in between. It's not really an arc, but it's an episode called The Shadow Warrior, and it has to do with Naboo and the Gungans, and General Grievous goes there. I don't really remember much about this episode, but I do remember that the Gungans were fighting General Grievous, and General Grievous was just slaughtering them, and then Captain Tarpals died, and that's a big thing because he played a pretty big role in the Phantom Menace as the general of the assault team or assault army against the battle droids, and he actually died in that, which was pretty funny. Not funny, but pretty funny that they would do that to make a character that appeared in the prequel trilogy die in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, agreed.
So there's not much to say about that episode. I do not think that there were any more episodes in between this and then the next major arc, though I do think that there was another arc to do with C-3PO and R2, but we're not going to go too much into that. You guys can go check out those episodes. There's not much to say. It's just like one of those little adventures of C-3PO and R2 as like a filler in between the episodes.
Yeah, I'm sure like some will have like some sort of episode review on that. It was a pretty good episode, seeing Commander Wolf and Phase 2 armor and everything. Yeah, pretty good.
So, yeah, I think that's about all, and we're going to go ahead and get into the next arc, which is the Umbara arc. So, the Umbara arc is really cool. It has to do with the 501st Legion, Jedi Master Pong Krell, and Umbara. So, basically what's happening is Anakin leaves Captain Rex and the 501st on Umbara and sends Pong Krell to go lead them. And Pong Krell just doesn't care about the clones at all. He just treats them like pawns, expendable pieces in his war. But he doesn't acknowledge that they all have separate feelings, and not feelings, but personalities, and they're all different. They're not all the same person, and he just really doesn't care about them. So yeah, and I know that I hated Pong Krell a lot for that. He was just letting all the clones die, sending them on these ridiculous missions. And it was really cool because we got to see Phase 2 Captain Rex, which was very, very cool. And then the 501st were on Umbara, like I said. Pong Krell sends them to go fight, but then the 212th are also on Umbara, and they go to fight. And Pong Krell tells both sides that the other side is dressed up as the Umbarans. Like, they're the Umbarans, but dressed up as clones. So he makes brothers fight brothers pretty much, and they're just killing off each other, and he did this all for fun. So
Yeah,
by
I
now you
mean,
think
you know,
Pong
it
Krell's...
was just so terrible. Pong Krell is just so terrible. You know that we got to see one of our favorite clones. You know, one of the most like, you know, like one of the best major clones that appeared in the series. Waxer. He died because you know, he was killed by his own soldiers. Yeah, Pong Krell is just really, really terrible. You know, I like to see him in action, but, you know, I just don't like his personality at all. He's just really, really rude to the clones.
Yeah, so basically the arc ends up where I believe it's Dogma, Fives, and Hardcase. Um, yeah, I think it was them. They went and to attack this assault ship, which Pong Krell did not want them to, because then he wouldn't be able to see more clones die because it would basically end the fight between them. So they went to attack that, and Hardcase sacrificed himself to destroy the trip, or destroy the
Fight another
ship.
day, boys. Need to fight another day.
I thought that was a pretty
Really.
cool ending to Hardcase, but he was a really, really clone favorite of mine. He wasn't my favorite clone, but I have the figure of him, and he was very, very cool. I really sucks to see Hardcase die. So that's pretty much how it ends up on Umbara, and eventually they get Pong Krell captured, and I'm not sure if he is killed. I don't really remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jedi Boy 330, but
Um,
does Pong Krell
yeah,
die?
yeah, yeah, like, Rex was about to shoot him, but he just, like, couldn't, you know, but then, Dogma, since Dogma, you know, he was, like, the only one who, like, actually followed, Krell's orders, and, when he found out that, that Krell was doing that, he just felt so betrayed, so angry, so he just pulled a blaster out of Fives' holster, and then just shot Krell by himself.
Yeah, so it's good that we all saw Pong Krell die. So that's the end of the Imbara arc. It was a great arc, but there are better arcs to come. So the next arc, we're going to skip a few episodes to get to the next important arc, which is the Obi-Wan Kenobi Reiko Hardeen arc, and we're going to go ahead and let Jared with you 30 talk about that.
It was a really great art. I mean, there was just, you know, a ton of things there that you would never, ever think of, like Obi-Wan just transforming into Rancor Hardeen, you know, as like a disguise. You know, you would just never thought of that, and I really like how, you know, I really like that scene when they were shaving Obi-Wan, and then, you know, just like, you know, he was turning into Rancor Hardeen, and, you know, with that little spider droid thing going down his throat. I have a video about that, that I recorded it from my camera, from the TV, and thanks for all the views on that. Yeah, so yeah, you can just go check that out if you haven't already seen it. Yeah, it was it was just a really cool arc. We got to, so like the main plot is that like Obi-Wan, like everyone thinks that Obi-Wan is dead because he got killed by well, he basically got killed by this guy named Raiko Hardeen, and yeah, he just everyone thinks he's dead, and Anakin, you know, Anakin is just really turning towards the dark side. He's just really angry that this is happening, and then but the only people who knew about this were Mace Windu and Yoda, who again, like I said, they transformed him into Raiko Hardeen, and then he has to go to prison, and then he meets Moralo Rizal. Because they're like after Moralo Rizal because, you know, he's like such a bad guy. He killed his mother when he was a child, and when authorities asked him why he did it, he said because he was bored, and so yeah, and then they meet Cad, and then
Go.
So they meet Cad Bane. Yeah. And then they just and then they try to escape prison. They're just Obi-Wan, he doesn't like doing this at all, and just shooting clones and stuff. And like that one scene where they where Obi-Wan tells them to like guard that one place while he tries to open this door. He actually uses the Force on it because he didn't want them knowing that he was Obi-Wan. And then so in the next episode, I believe, and then the next episode, I can't remember really what that one was about. Wasn't
it was really
one?
I remember what it was about. They just escaped through this elaborate plan. Maral Eval, Obi-Wan as Rancor Hardeen, and Cad Bane. They just escaped and they stole a ship to this other planet. And there they pretty much got Rancor Hardeen got screwed, or Obi-Wan got screwed, because Cad Bane and Maral Eval were leaving him for dead on this planet, but Obi-Wan doesn't let that happen, and he gets on the ship with them. Then, once they go back to meet Count Dooku, because Count Dooku wanted all these bounty hunters were gathered, they didn't know that Count Dooku wanted them to fight for their life inside the box, which was this big box, and yeah, so that's pretty much all that happens in that arc. It was really cool. You got to see Embo again and all these other bounty hunters.
Yeah.
And
Lost was the best episode of the arc, in my opinion. I just love seeing Embo in action again, and all those different courses. It would make a really good video game.
yes,
Really,
so
really nice episode.
that's pretty much all we have to say about that. The box was really cool, and it ended up all good for the Republic. Their plan went all went according to plan. So you can go check out those episodes if you want. I'm going to go ahead and get into the final arc of the Clone Wars Season 4, which is the season finale, Savage Press and Maul. There was a minor arc in between them with the Savage Adventures, but we don't have much time to talk about that. So let's just go ahead and get into the Savage Press. I'll talk a little bit about this. Savage Press wanted to find Maul, his brother, and he had this necklace that was leading him to Maul. So he went to this planet. He made this guy, a star pilot. He made him take him to this junk planet where the necklace was leading him. And then once he got there, eventually he's led by the snake, and the snake sees him, and he finds his brother, Darth Maul, in this cyborg spider thing body, and he's crazy. So then, after that, Savage subdues Darth Maul and takes him to Mother Talzin, who trades him in for these good cyborg legs. And they go on a rampage of killing all these innocent people, lead the Jedi to them, or lead Obi-Wan to them, and Obi-Wan ends up fighting both of them. And Obi-Wan is getting destroyed, and I'm going to go ahead and let Gerald Theory talk more about this.
Alright, and then the Savage Adventures comes, and this is where she basically turns good. She's helping Obi-Wan fight Savage and Maul, because I don't know why. I wasn't quite sure why she was doing it, but yeah, she basically turned to the good side, and then they're just fighting. Obi-Wan is getting a bit turned to the dark side. He was just he what I mean. He was just trying to swing his lightsaber really hard, and then and then they finally try to escape from space.
They escaped in an escape pod, and this is where it sucked, because the season finale ended with Savage Maul saying that he will get his revenge, and Asajj and Obi-Wan were flying away in an escape pod. So that's about all we have to talk about of Clone Wars Season 4. It's a great season, but I'd recommend Season 2. That one, I don't know why, it just seemed to impress me more. So
yeah, I love Season 2. It's my favorite.
Season 4 was a great season. You should buy it on DVD or Blu-ray once it comes out. Great season. I give it an 8 out of 10, but there's a bunch of great episodes in it. So that's about it for this episode of Rancor Podcast Weekly. Stay tuned next Saturday for another episode of Rancor Podcast Weekly. Ryan 1200 out, and
may the Force be with you.
Bye, guys.